Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. That is right, it is time for another preview video as Tottenham head for their second and third games of pre-season. We are playing Luton at Kenilworth Road on Saturday, and it has now actually been discovered that Spurs have added a friendly against Wycombe on the same day before that at Hotspur away. So we're playing two games in the space of the same day, which is, mental from Thomas Frank, but I guess he wants to get a real good look at some more of his players, give them the opportunity to have some more minutes on the pitch and really get to know this new Tottenham squad. The game against Reading was brilliant. There were a lot of impressive performances, some brilliant debuts, and all in all, I think it was a really impressive performance against a team we know that we should be beating, and now hopefully we can replicate that again before we head away to South Korea for our tour abroad, where we play the likes of Bayern Munich, we play Arsenal, we play Newcastle, and it all builds up to the new Premier League season and that all-important Super Cup against PSG. We are 3 weeks away now from the start of the season, and we all know that there's work to be done in the transfer window. Let's not distract ourselves from that, but it's also good to take time out and focus on the football and see how we are progressing on the pitch. Now, if you haven't seen my review video of the Reading game, check that out. The link is in the description. It goes through all of the new patterns and formations that we saw under Thomas Frank, how some of the key players performed in that game, and I am expecting to see more of the same against Luton. That was Kenilworth Road. Quite likely we come up against Josh Keeley, who has just moved to Luton on a permanent deal. Wishing him all the best, but I'm just so excited to be able to watch Spurs once again. I have missed this. I have missed being able to just kick back and watch the best team in all of Europe. Satire, of course, but we are technically European champions. That is not going to change for the next season at the very least. And at the same time, it just brings us ever closer to that opening game against Burnley, and 3 days before that when we travel to Italy to face PSG in the Super Cup. So, Luton, what are we expecting to see? Well, I think it's going to be very, very similar to the Reading game in terms of we're going to see lots of different players on the pitch. We're going to see swapping and complete changes to the starting 11 and half-time. Complete overhauls in terms of the players that are out on the pitch under Thomas Frank. We saw a very strong two teams, I think, against Reading, and it wouldn't surprise me to see the same. See Romero on one team, captain in one half, Heung-min Son on the other team, captaining them as well. Hopefully we may get a look at a few more players in a bit more detail under Thomas Frank. James Maddison is back in full training for Tottenham now, so maybe, just maybe, we'll get to see how he will operate in a Thomas Frank system. Still no Dejan Kulusevski as he continues to recover from his injury that he picked up at the end of last season. But nonetheless, there is still a lot of excitement to be had for these types of games. It will give us another look at Antonin Kinski, who I thought was very impressive in that first half against Reading. The way that he controlled the ball at his feet, came out of his box and even was able to dictate the play from the back, split the centre-backs and just give us that extra body in possession that helps us dominate football games. We'll see if we continue with the theme of Destiny Udogie playing out wide as a touchline fullback and Pedro Porro tucking in and having more of a central on the ball role under Frank as well. And while there is still no news as it stands on the signing of Gibbs White or any other players, we're interested in Yoane Wissa. There are other targets that we're potentially looking at as well. We will still manage to see other players fill in that role or give the opportunity to Son to get more minutes in his legs, because let's be honest, he looked a little bit rusty against Reading and he does need to sharpen up, particularly before we go away on tour, with it being revealed this week that we are taking Son on tour regardless of speculation around his future, as he's been linked to the move away, and almost half of the revenue that we're getting from this tour comes with the fact that Son must be playing. So that was a bit of an interesting revelation, and I'm sure he will step up and deliver for all of the fans that are out in Asia and travelling over to watch pre-season games, as a lot of people do as well. We also get the chance to see Mohamed Kudus in the flesh again, performing in a Tottenham shirt, moving from West Ham, of course. We don't need reminding about that, and I thought he looked really sharp and really up for it against Reading. That's something he's going to need to continue if he's going to want to get straight into this starting 11, displace maybe the likes of Brennan Johnson on that right-hand side, Kulusevski when he comes back, who knows. Rodrigo Bentancur, I think, is going to play in more of that deeper role while we consider our options for that number 6 in the transfer window. Dominic Solanke, of course, I think is the favoured striker under Thomas Frank right now. We don't know where this Wissock deal is going to go. Richarlison was also left out of the squad for that Reading game, which suggests to me that he could well be on his way out this summer as well. But yeah, we can take away a few things from these games against the lower oppositions like Luton, like Reading. And the main things we're going to see is how we're going to operate when we have more possession in games, when we are the more dominant teams. And we're going to see that obviously a lot more in the Premier League as well. But what we won't have seen is how we're going to act against the likes of Arsenal's, Man City's, Liverpool's, those teams that probably are able to dominate the ball a bit better than us. We're going to sit in a more defensive shape. We haven't really seen that yet, and we're probably not going to see that until we go on to tour. But I'm all for seeing this attacking brand of football that Thomas Frank keeps banging on about. I'm all for seeing Luka Vuskovic in a Tottenham shirt, and it has just taken 45 minutes for that kid on the pitch playing for Tottenham to convince me that he should not be going out on loan anywhere this summer. He should be staying and fighting for a spot in this Tottenham team. I think he could be the perfect rotation option for this first year. He is only 18 years old, and better yet, if we play through at the back some weeks, he could be a starter fighting alongside Kevin Danso for a place in that team. Obviously, we've got Takai as well. I'm not entirely sure whether we're going to see the guy that we have just signed from the J League, their record transfer, in Spurs' squad just yet or not. I do believe he is training with the group, but we are yet to know whether he is going to be involved or not. So overall, I'm expecting a pretty dominant performance from Spurs once again this weekend. It should be very, very routine. We know that Luton like to play an aggressive style of football themselves. They are obviously relegated and down in League One this season under Matt Bloomfield, and they are capable of causing upsets. We saw that at their best in the Premier League and the Championship. They love their stadium. It's all very close quarters, and it gives these Spurs players an opportunity to obviously get involved in a toxic and hostile atmosphere, which is all part of pre-season as well. And slowly but surely we're ramping up the levels, ramping up the fitness levels, and hopefully we will just be ready for when those big games come rolling around. I know this game against Wycombe, I don't know how Thomas Frank is going to line up for that and whether he's going to play the players that are going to play the most minutes against Luton, because if so, we're going to be coming into that game probably a lot more tired than our opposition. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to pan out, but when Thomas Frank did his sort of interview revealing that was going to be the case, he seemed very enthusiastic about it, and you can just tell that he wants to get so stuck in to this Tottenham squad and just know them inside and out. And I absolutely love that appetite, and he can really sense the hunger that he has to achieve and do well with Spurs. He said he's never been sacked from a job and he wants to continue that theme. It's one of the reasons why he took the job, and I'm backing him to the hills and back to lead us to something special. But for now, it is just the second game of pre-season in a number that we've got 3 weeks to go until the start of the Premier League season, 2.5 weeks until we play in the Super Cup. What are your expectations for this match against Luton? Should it be another comfortable routine win? Who are you looking forward to seeing the most? And are we ready to face the big boys in South Korea, Newcastle, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, etc.? Let me know down in the comments. As ever, thank you for your support on the channel in the recent weeks and months. It's been incredibly well received by myself, of course, and I hope to keep doing these videos as long as you guys want to keep watching. So thank you from the bottom of my heart once again. But for now, go and enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Some of you may be going, who knows? If you are, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. As always, come on you Spurs.